In our top story this hour, there is no end in sight to the arms deal scandal. The matter was brought before the North Gauteng High Court today, where judgment was reserved.
Civil society organizations, Corruption Watch and Right2Know, are behind the urgent application to review and set aside the findings of the Seriti Commission into the arms deal. Judge Seriti's report exonerated those who were facing allegations of massive corruption in government's 1999 arms procurement deal.
Advocate Geoff Batlander, representing the organizations, argued that the inquest failed to gather the relevant material evidence that would have assisted to reach a different conclusion. The Office of the President did not oppose the application and also indicated that it will abide by the decision of the court. The application was heard by a full bench of judges.
Right, let's get a wrap of today's court proceedings. Our reporter Sipho Stuurman was there and followed the story for us. Sipho, thanks very much for joining us. All right, so I mean, this story is 20 years old now. Remind us, just give us an indicator of what Right2Know and Human and Corruption Watch really want to get out of the courts.
Well, a very good afternoon to you and our viewers at home. What Corruption Watch and Right2Know really want is that they strongly believe that the process that was followed by the Seriti Commission was, a bit legally flawed, and that they do not do a thorough job in terms of investigating and following up on all the possible leads. Now, you will understand that a commission of inquiry has a variety of powers, that is to subpoena witnesses to appear before it, and call a number of witnesses and certainly, lead evidence to prove, of course, the matter that it was established for. So now they feel like this commission did not do that job thoroughly, and that certain political high-profile names, and that includes even former President Thabo Mbeki, former President Zuma, were exonerated without any evidence being tested by this Seriti Commission. Of course, they are not saying that they are guilty, but they are not satisfied by the process that was undertaken. So now they're saying, much like the public protector's reports, which we know are binding, they want this commission's report also to be reviewed and set aside. So that was the argument that they put there in court, saying that they feel that, of course, the process that was followed there really was a whitewash, and that high-profile figures were exonerated by the report. Now, also quite interestingly is that the presidency now under President Cyril Ramaphosa went and made representations and said that they would abide by the court findings in this matter. The senior counsel representing the presidency there, that is Advocate Kasim, also said that he found the process also to be quite questionable that was taken by this commission. So lots of questions hang in the balance, and there's a sense of, they feel that not proper investigations were not done in terms of uncovering the truth.
All right, so if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is that the presidency is not opposing this filing by Right2Know and Corruption Watch, which means essentially the evidence that's been brought forward by Right2Know and their partner is the only one that's being tested for the judges to make a decision on whether this Seriti Commission report should be set aside.
Well, indeed, what has happened there in front of a full bench, the Right2Know team and Corruption Watch were just putting their arguments as to why they feel the commission did not do a proper job in investigation. It was not necessarily making arguments in terms of implicating individuals that were implicated in the scandal, but it was just looking at the process that was followed by the commission itself, Seriti Commission, and said that it did not do the proper job. But then for the presidency to say, well, we will abide by the court findings on this matter, that's quite essential, because under former President Jacob Zuma, he had indicated that he would oppose this application to have these findings by the Seriti inquiry set aside and reviewed. But also the key issue here is that many of the implicated persons here have tried to dodge a prosecution and have used this Seriti Commission to say, well, the Seriti Commission said we are clean, so then why are we being prosecuted by the NPA? So what they want is that they want this to be set aside so that the NPA can sort of have free reign to go after those that are implicated in this arms deal scandal. You remember, of course, Patricia de Lille, who's now part of President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration, was the key whistleblower, and she, at the time when this was report was released in 2016, she had said that it was a whitewash. So as said, many sectors of society are unhappy with this Seriti report.
All right, so judgment has been reserved. Any idea when the judges will come back with a decision?
Yeah, judgment reserved. It's a full bench, including the Judge President Mlambo. They haven't indicated when they will come back. But also, perhaps a point that I should also raise is that the parties, that is Corruption Watch, they're saying they're not calling for another inquiry to be established. Remember, this inquiry on itself, this commission already cost the country about 137 million. That's a lot of money. I think their point is to try to prove that some of these commissions of inquiry are actually not very helpful in covering the truth. But what they want is that they want it to be set aside so that authorities can investigate those that are implicated in the report. But we are going to have to wait and see when the judges come back to us with a decision.
All right, Sipho Stuurman, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much indeed. That's our reporter in Pretoria, Sipho Stuurman, who was in the High Court today following proceedings, and that's Right2Know and Corruption Watch, two organizations that are trying to get the Seriti Commission report set aside, citing serious flaws in the process that was followed at the time.